Captain Samuel Bellam. Captain Samuel Bellam, LSE 23, February 1689, 26 April 1717, later known as Black Sam Bellam, was an English sailor turned pirate during the early 18th century. He is best known as the wealthiest pirate in recorded history and one of the faces of the golden age of piracy. Though his known career as a pirate captain lasted little more than a year, he and his crew captured at least 53 ships. Called Black Sam in Cape Cod folklore because he eschewed the fashionable powdered wig in favor of tying back his long black hair with a simple band, Bellam became known for his mercy and generosity toward those he captured on his raids. This reputation earned him another nickname, the Prince of Pirates. He likened himself to Robin Hood, with his crew calling themselves Robin Hood's Men. Bellam was born in Devon, England in 1689 and began sailing for the British Royal Navy as a teenager. After traveling to Cape Cod around 1715, he then went south to the Florida coast in an effort to locate a sunken treasure fleet. From there, he made his way to the Bahamas, sailing under Benjamin Hornigold and his second-in-command, Edward Blackbeard Teach. After Hornigold and Teach were voted out of command, Bellam took a captured vessel as his own before capturing a state-of-the-art slave trade ship, the Wider Galley, in the early spring of 1717. 2 months later, the vessel was caught in a nor'easter storm off the coast of Massachusetts and sank, taking Bellam and most of his crew down with it. The remains of the Wider Galley were discovered in 1984, making it the first fully authenticated Golden Age pirate ship discovered in North America. Early life. Bellam was born in 1689 in the parish of Hiddesley on Dartmoor in Devon, Kingdom of England, the youngest of 6 known children of Stephen and Elizabeth Bellam. Elizabeth died soon after and was buried on 23 February 1689, 3 weeks before Samuel's baptism on 18 March. The future pirate became a sailor at a young age. In his late teens, he joined the Royal Navy and fought in several battles. Though it has been speculated that he may have had a wife and child, there is no definite historical proof of this. Bellam travelled to Cape Cod around 1715, allegedly to seek some of his relatives there. According to an abundance of local lore on the subject, it is believed that he took up an affair with a local beauty, Goody Hallett, the Witch of Wellfleet. Professor Elizabeth Reynard, in her 1934 book, The Narrow Land, gave her the name Maria, and though there is no evidence of her bearing that name, it has nevertheless become a popular name for her. Other modern authors have called her Maria and Mary. Her age and marital status remain subjects of much debate. Some stories depict her as a young lady between 16 and 25, while others depict her as a very old woman. In some stories, her parents liked Bellam, but did not think a poor self-confident sailor was husband material. Circumstantial evidence indicates that she may have already been married, confirming some stories that it was Bellamy's intent to seek his fortune and then return, not to marry her, but to take her away. For whatever reason, he left Cape Cod in early 1716 with a group of men to seek the vast treasures of the 1715 Spanish treasure fleet, which had wrecked the previous summer in a hurricane off the east coast of Florida. Wealthy jeweler Palgraves, Williams, son of Rhode Island Attorney General John Williams, joined Bellam and funded their expedition. After Bellam left the Cape, Hallett was found to be pregnant by Bellam. It is said that she gave birth to a son and hid the child in a barn for warmth while she foraged for food, and when she returned, she found that the child had choked to death on the straw. Some legends say that it was the barn of the notable Knowles family. Others claim it was that of Justice Joseph Doane, who had banished Hallett. In either case, she was arrested for the child's murder and imprisoned in the old jail of Barnstable, Massachusetts, the oldest wooden jailhouse in the United States, said to be haunted by her. Her sentence was relatively short, but she was exiled from the town. Afterwards, she waited for Bellam in Eastham. Death just 2 months after acquiring the Wider. As she and the Marianne approached Cape Cod, Williams told Bellam that he wished to visit his family in Rhode Island, and the two agreed to meet up again near Maine. Bellam and the Wider captured several other small vessels in the area, including the Anne Galley, to which he appointed his quartermaster Richard Noland as captain. If Bellam intended to revisit his lover, Maria Hallett, he failed. The Wider was swept up in a violent nor'easter storm off Cape Cod at midnight, on 26 April 1717 and was driven onto the sandbar shoals in 16 feet 4.9 m of water, some 500 feet 150 m from the coast of what is now Wellfleet, Massachusetts. At 15 minutes past midnight, the mast snapped and drew the heavily loaded ship into 30 feet of water, where she capsized and quickly sank, taking Bellamy and all but 2 of the Whydar's 146-man crew with her. 104 bodies were known to have washed ashore and were buried by the town coroner, leaving 42 bodies unaccounted for. The Mary Ann was also wrecked that night several miles south of the Whydah, leaving 7 more survivors. All 9 survivors from the 2 ships were captured and prosecuted for piracy in Boston, and 6 were convicted on 22 October 1717 and hanged on 15 November 1717. King George's pardon of all pirates, issued on 5 September, supposedly arrived in Boston 3 weeks too late. 2 were set free, the court believing their testimony that they had been forced into piracy. The last, a 16-year-old Mosquito Indian from Central America, John Julian, was believed to have been sold into slavery to John Quincy, the great-grandfather of U.S. President John Quincy Adams, 22. Williams waited for Bellamy to rendezvous. When Bellamy never appeared, Williams realized what had happened and sailed south to Nassau in the Marianne. Noland also searched for Bellamy off Maine. Failing to find him, he took the Anne Galley south, raiding ships along the way before accepting a pardon in the Bahamas.